Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests. We have Ms. Shanay Watson-Whittaker. She is our political strategist and public policy advocate and expert. And it's election day. It is November 5th, 2024, and we are talking all things election. Welcome to the show, Shanay. How are you?
Hey, Kimberly, I am exhausted, but for a good cause, going out canvassing and talking to folks in different parts of the state, you know, asking people to exercise their right to vote. And I'm just really excited about the turnout today and the energy that we've all poured into this state to make sure that we vote accordingly.
Absolutely. So, Shanay, let's get right to it. What are you hearing from potential voters at the polls? And I shouldn't say potential, but all voters, because lots of us have been having conversations. I've got lawn signs, I've been talking it up, and I do sort of feel this optimism. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, you are correct. I'm feeling it too. I can say I'm optimistic and cautiously optimistic because of 2016. I do have PTSD from that.
Mhm.
I'm very excited about the opportunity to elect the first woman president, the first Black woman president. And folks here in Michigan know what's at stake. They understand that what happens here in Michigan determines what happens in the rest of the country. So I'm really excited about going door to door, making sure people come out to vote, and making sure that our voices are heard.
Absolutely. Talk about what's at stake in this election. We have really been talking about nationally, girl,
Mm-hmm.
we have been talking nationally about the top of the ticket, but there are also some pivotal races. There are some nonpartisan races that are just important. Why is it important for voters to also be mindful to make their appropriate selections there as well?
Yeah, great question. So let me talk about, first of all, the Michigan Supreme Court. We have an
Yeah.
opportunity to elect two women, two phenomenal women, Justice Kyra Harris Bolden and Kimberly Ann Thomas. Justice Bolden is a champion of reproductive rights. You see her record in the Michigan House of Representatives. She has been a strong advocate for folks. And I think that for her to be elected at this time shows that we want to retain the majority that is pro reproductive freedom. Folks don't really know that there are groups out there that have challenged Proposal 3 that we won in 2022. And if we elect people like Justice Bolden and Kimberly Ann Thomas, we have an opportunity to uphold what we voted for and what we cherish, and that's our reproductive freedom. And then talking about down the line and down ticket races, nonpartisan section with the judges. These are our future Michigan Supreme Court justices. These are our future federal judges that are appointed and have lifetime appointments to these judgeships. These are our future um, United States Supreme Court justices as well. So we have the opportunity to elect those folks that represent our values and our views, and to make sure that they have the opportunity to ascend to higher heights. So it's important that we support those down ticket, nonpartisan judicial races. Now I'm just going to say this. I don't want somebody just to elect somebody just for that. I want folks to examine their records. I want folks to go to their websites and read up on these justices. There is a lot of message out there. Um, there's a lot of information out there about these judges. So I want folks to just examine their records to see where they stand on their values and their issues, and to make sure that you elect judges that represent your values. I know myself, I'm going to vote for those judges as well, understanding that this is the future of our judicial system. We're still having injustices in our community. We're still seeing folks wrongly incarcerated. We're still seeing those disparities in incarceration. So it's important that we have judges that understand the importance of equal justice under law.
Absolutely. Shanay, it has been reported that in Michigan alone, 3 million people have early voted. I have to say, I am one of them. I went to the polls last week, Wednesday, was able to walk into my election center, present my credentials, get my ballot, vote, walk out with my sticker, feeling really proud. We had two new people who had never voted before. Yes, they were citizens before anybody starts to run with that. They were citizens, and the energy was just off the charts. How many people were in? What does that tell you about this election?
Yeah, I just want to say that it tells you that folks are really excited. And I'll take a step back to 2022. A lot of the coalition partners that I worked with in Proposal 3, they were also pivotal in the success of expanding voting rights for all folks. In 2018, we had the redistricting that succeeded. In 2022, we have the expansion of voting rights for folks in our communities. Here in Detroit, we had folks vote as early as October 19th. In East Lansing at Michigan State University, they started voting as early as October 21st. So it's so great, and it's so and it's wonderful to see folks exercising the rights that we all fought for. So kudos to that coalition in 2022 and 2018 to help make this happen as well.
Shanay, last question before we get out of here. If someone is struggling, you walk up to someone, they've seen the attack ads, they've seen the billboards, they've received the mailers, but they still are not convinced that they need to vote. What would you say to them?
On a federal level, Google Project 2025. Google what's at stake. Google qualified immunity in Project 2025. Google reproductive freedom in Project 2025. And what that means. Google what happens to the Department of Education in Project 2025. That's all you need to know. We have worked so hard to expand our voting rights and to expand equal rights for all people. This will take us back to a time where our folks were, our ancestors were, where we didn't have those rights and we weren't equal under the law. So I just want folks to Google it and understand that's what's at stake. Our freedoms are at stake, and it's important for us to vote accordingly. Thanks.
Thank you. And I totally agree with that statement. Our freedoms are at stake. It has been said, Trump has said it, and I'm saying this. This is Kimberly Bachelor Davis. This is my show. Trump has said he will gut the Department of Education. My day job, I work at a university. I help to educate people every day. My job will be gone. He has also proposed a national stop and frisk. That means every young child of color will be stopped. So the norms that we talk about being able to walk to the store or walk to the playground, or your child is subject to be stopped, not because they were doing something that they shouldn't, but simply for existing. He has also proposed a national immunity on police. That means all of these bad things that we hear a few police officers doing, because the majority of police officers are here to do their job, and they do it very well. But there are a few that decide that they can kill and torture and inflict all kinds of pain on people. And we hear those stories. And many of it is because there was a recording either on their body cam, police cruiser, or a bystander. All of that will go away because it will become illegal. Not only that, we know from an FBI investigation that Russia has been interfering in our elections. And what has Trump said? Oh, Putin's not a bad guy. I don't know about you, Shanay, but I remember back to 5th grade, the United States, Soviet, what was it?
The Cold War.
Yes, the Cold War, but it was the USSR.
USSR.
I was trying to remember what that stood for. I remember that. And I remember Russia being an enemy of the United States. And I'm not proposing that any country is. However, we know that there are relationships around the world, and the United States and Russia do not see eye to eye on many things. And I think people will really be surprised when we learn some things. But here I want to remind my viewers, Donald Trump has 34 convictions. How many other trials, Shanay, do we have? It's at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It's so many. It's so many. He has Georgia. I believe he has another one in New York. I could
Yep.
be. Okay. So there's another one in New York and there's another one in Georgia. Giuliani was just found guilty of,
Liable.
yes, liable. Thank you. That is the correct word. I do work at a law school, so I should use that word. Liable, and for spreading the rumor that the 2020 election was fake, that it was stolen. He had to give up his personal property to 2 election workers in Georgia. Donald
And that
Trump
penthouse.
and that penthouse. That's right. Donald Trump incited a riot at the People's House at Congress, which threatened the lives of our elected officials and at the time our vice president, which was Mike Pence. These are things, people, we cannot let go. Let's also remember he has been convicted of sexual assault. He has been found guilty. Can I go on, Shanay?
The list is so long. It's so long. I'm gonna say this one thing about Project 2025, and really quickly. 18.9% of federal workers are African American,
yes.
including
yes.
my own child.
Yes.
If Trump wins and Project 2025 is implemented, they will be replacing those folks with lackeys and sycophants that support him. That means one of the main ways Black folks rose into the middle class was through the government, through government jobs. That will be closed off.
Yes.
So let's all think about that as well. Think about the future of our country. Think about how most of us have used government jobs as a way to get out of poverty, including my own family. And we're continuing that service, that line of service in government through our family as well. So I also want folks to think what's also at stake: your livelihood. If you are a federal employee or a family member of a federal employee, how would that impact them because they voted a certain way? That's what's at stake. There's so much at stake. Trump's list of lawsuits and whatnot, it's longer than a 22-inch bust down. Okay. So, there's so much at stake right now. I can't go on and on. I can go on and on, but I'm just going to, as soon as I finish this, go canvass some more, make some more phone calls, go down to Huntington Place and make sure democracy remains intact, and to continue to serve this country the best I can. So I just want to thank you, Kimberly, for giving me the opportunity to speak, to share my points of view today during this hectic election day. It's quiet right now, but I'm about to go right into the fire. So thank you so much.
And thank you, and we appreciate your sacrifice of your time and your family in order to help preserve democracy, because we all benefit from democracy. That is the goal. That is the goal. Before we get out of here, Shanay, tell us how we can reach you and how we can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, La Femme Negrita. I'm also on Instagram. You'll see some posts. Today, specifically today, I posted that my grandmother, actually yesterday, my husband's grandmother, 101 years old, casted her vote for Vice President Harris. A 101-year-old woman did that. And if she can vote, because there was a time where she could not vote and there was poll taxes where she lived. In Mississippi, she's voting for Vice President Harris. So we don't have any excuse. We are still living with people who had to pay a tax to vote. Okay?
Absolutely.
And we don't have that barrier.
That's right. And happy birthday and blessings to your husband's grandmother. That is such a wonderful history right in front of you, the wealth of information and the stories that she can tell. And yes, there were poll taxes. There was a time when women could not vote. We couldn't have a bank account. So many different things. That is living history. What a wonderful moment for her, I am sure. So
yes,
thank you for being here. Guys, you can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere on social media. And it's Kimberly Batchelor Davis. Batchelor is spelled Batchelor. You can see this show on youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. You can hear this show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and Wisdom. You can learn more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. You can also reach out to me via email at Kimberly at KimberlyBachelorDavis.com. Thank you again for tuning in. We hope you'll join us on our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.